Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United Views. It is the road trip for Man United and Manchester City. The derby at the Etihad, the big one, and the chance to compile City to misery. Yeah, give them 3 in a row. The time to really kickstart our season. The time to, I don't know, start turning a corner. The time to actually get back-to-back wins, bro, for the first time under Ruben Amorim. And it's the big task of beating Man City away. I have to be honest, yeah. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Time will tell. This is the most confident I've been in a long time going to City. And listen, that doesn't mean we're going to win. That doesn't obviously mean we're going to play well. But the feeling going into it, when you look at how we play in these games, when you look at the state of Man City right now, there's this feeling that they're there to be got at. There's this feeling that actually it doesn't matter about 15th last year or scraping a win against Burnley or, you know, what happened at Grimsby. It actually doesn't matter about that. One, yes, because it's a derby and form goes out the window. But it's like there's a certain kryptonite when we seem to play City in the last few games. And we haven't won all of them. We haven't won all of them by a long stretch. Listen, we had a very boring derby last time out, 0-0, I think, at Old Trafford. But there's this, I don't know, there's this thing with City where you're not scared anymore. Like, we're not scared of them anymore. They're going for a transition period. And for us, if you're going to pick a time to play them, you'd probably pick now before they start to settle down, before some of their new signings settle, before they get new players back, before they get into a bit of a rhythm. And I've spoken to City fans. I've seen a lot of City fans as well that are, I'm not going to say quaking in their boot, but they're concerned. They're concerned about this game. But anyway, for us, Benjamin SESKO, I tell you what, the manager said in the comments that come out after the sort of last night, you know, the embargo part of the presser. He said, maybe this is a time for SESKO to start. Maybe in this moment, it's a good thing for him to start. And I didn't think he was going to start this game until I saw that comment, unless he's hoodwinking us again, Ruben Amorim, just to play some games. But it would be so good to see him start, you know, a big game away, show the full faith in him, and we start to use him more. I mean, and the manager, he spoke about it as well, like SESKO's been playing, and he's getting into good positions. He makes good runs. He's had a couple of headers, getting in on the end of things, not quite coming off, but he's in those types of positions, and we need to get used to using him more. So that was interesting, of what I found him to say, and I want to see him from the start, especially with the reshuffle that's going to be needed, because there's no Dalot, there's no, not that match for SESKO, but I'm just painting a picture. There's no Dalot, there's no Mason Mount, and there's no Cunha, especially Cunha and Mason Mount. That's a reshuffle in the front three. So you'd expect him to be able to get into it. I think he'll probably will. In hindsight, I think he probably will keep Bruno in the midfield like he's been talking, especially the way he spoke about Kobbie Mainoo. Now, these comments from Ruben Amorim on Kobbie Mainoo, it's winding a lot of people up in the fan base. Other people can see exactly where he's coming from. What he said was, and I'm paraphrasing, was that he believes in Kobbie, thinks he's a top player. But basically, the talent alone isn't enough. He needs to be better positionally. He needs more pace. And there's two sides to this. Hear me out on this, right? There's two sides to this. The manager system isn't working, right? And we're not a very good team. We're trying to improve. We got better XG. We're scoring more. Well, we're getting more chances. We need to score more goals, though, from it, yeah? But ultimately, since the manager's been here, he's failed, right? So we're always going to look to somebody like Kobbie Mainoo with the ability that he has and not understand how he can't get in there over Ugarte. Do you know what I'm saying? Over an aging Casemiro. Because Casemiro is not super quick. You know, all right, Ugarte can get about a little bit better than, he's probably the most mobile midfielder we got, but he's not great. So I see why people are frustrated by saying, well, hold on a minute. Mate, we're awful in midfield. And actually, this midfield two that you're playing alongside Bruno, who's going to be able to cover that type of space? Who's going to be able to do that? But then there is this other side to Kobbie that I think he can't be misprofiled. He can't be misprofiled. And I do see a little bit of what Amorim's saying in terms of the talent's not enough. Like, you can't just, like, Kobbie Mainoo's got to be in the right environment in central midfield. He isn't, I don't think he's a superstar in terms of just play him and watch what this guy does. Like, It isn't as easy as that. He has to be in the right system, and that is the job of the manager. The manager hasn't provided that right environment for him. But at the same time, you know, when you look at some of the deficiencies Kobe has, one of them would be mobility. Now, you say in the British game, in the English game, you go, oh, this is the British problem, this is the English problem. You just want passion and desire and guys who just run around, who have no tech, who have no skill, who have no ability on the ball. And that's not entirely true. It's not entirely true. And this is why I fear for Kobe, not just at Man United, but just with the current setup. Because for me, Kobe needs to be in a midfield three with some dynamism in there, with some runners in there, and let him go and play his best football further forward. He can play in midfield. There's this myth that Kobe can't play in midfield. He can, but just not under this setup. And his talent alone, and this is where two things can be right, his talent alone is not enough to just put him out there in the midfield too and watch him shine. That's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen under this manager. So that's why this is, as they say, this is the two sides of the coin where both things can kind of be right. The manager's system is holding Kobe back because it doesn't suit his style of play, but also his talent isn't enough. Look at Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson he can get about the pitch. He's physical. He's strong. He's a powerful runner. He's good in attack. He can do a little bit of everything. Now, I'm not saying that Kobe Mainoo can't lace Elliot Anderson's boots. Of course, I'm not saying that. But in the system that he plays in and the attributes that Elliot Anderson has, he's more suited to what he's been asked to do. And hence why these type of guys are going to surpass. They already have surpassed Kobe Mainoo. I don't mean with their achievements, because Elliot Anderson hasn't won anything. Elliot Anderson hasn't played in 2 major finals in his career. So I don't mean by achievements, guys. Listen to me when I'm saying this. I'm talking about this trajectory of, well, Kobe Mainoo's not in the side. And Anderson's starting for England, probably in Kobe Mainoo's spot. This tells us everything, right? So I'm just using that as an example to explain how both things can be true. Anyway, back to the game. Having said all that, that's why I think Kobe Mainoo doesn't start. I think he goes with the same midfield. I think Mbeumo's going to be massively important in this. City can be got at. City can be run at. You know, they play this high line. That, you know, I think De Ligt, he's surely going to start. Has to be super aggressive on Haaland. And I feel like if you nullify Haaland, you've got such a good chance of nullifying City. And of course, the supply line into Haaland, which hasn't been super efficient. You know, they've been playing Bernardo Silva in central midfield. Obviously, Tijani Reinders as well is a good player. But since that Wolves game, and look, Wolves are clearly the worst team in the league at the moment, rock bottom with 0 points in 4 games. You know, you have to wait. And he hasn't been anything else since, you know, Spurs wasn't great, and against Brighton wasn't great. So I think he's had a baptism of fire. You know, Phil Foden's on his way back in. Doku, I think we've managed him quite well. So listen, we can't make mistakes. We can't do stupid stuff. But at the same time, this game is there for the taking. I want us to be brave. I want us to, when I say be on the front foot, we might not do that from the start. That's probably not the best way to try and beat this City team. But be resolute, but attack with purpose, attack with belief. And all of a sudden, the season could be kick-started. I need back-to-back wins. Please don't lose this in a bad way, or even just lose. And it just sets us back, and we're right back to square one again. You scrape to win against Burnley, go to the Etihad and lose. You know what I'm saying? You saw what Chelsea were on last night. Up and down, they're not the best. That's the next game at home. So there's a real chance in the next week or so to put a marker down and start our season. And let's do it today. I'm confident. I'm still going to go over Man United win. Yeah, I'll be on a watch along on the match view with Owen. And I'll see you guys there, man. Let me know what you guys think about this game. Give me your prediction. Peace.